Good afternoon. This is Spiritjourney. And yes, this is another beautiful day. It's Thursday, May 31st, 2018, and it is about 4:01 p.m. New York City time. I hope you all are having a very great day. Right now it is rainy in New York. The skies are very, very hazy and a lot of fog all over, but the temperature's not too bad. It was 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, this is another live stream, and I want to talk about a few things. And I already just uploaded some videos, so I hope this live stream is not going to take away from the uploads that I just put up. One of them, in fact, is going to be uploading shortly onto YouTube, so we may get a pop-up. So if that occurs while this is live streaming, I apologize in advance, okay? Well, I want to talk about some things that I find very concerning, okay? I was just fixing the mic there. Well, I had gone to my YouTube channel, Spiritjourney, and I noticed that another video I recently uploaded is flagged by YouTube, and they are barring any monetization on it. And I think it's also telling on the type of video that has been hindered by YouTube. Again, I feel this is another media blackout on certain subjects. And this subject is on what's called the grooming that's happening in Britain. And I made mention of it in a video that I did just a couple of days ago pertaining to Tommy Robinson's arrest. He was live streaming, and towards the end, the video is about 1 hour and 15 minutes long, and it's just at the latter part he gets arrested, and he's going to be in prison for 13 months. And so I did a live stream on it when I was on my way to the park, and I shared my thoughts because it was a new subject. It was the first time I ever heard of this particular person in Britain, and I want to show you what YouTube did. See, anytime I say, I would like with my videos, when I say something, that I'm able to back it up. And so I will be showing you the screen with what happened to my video. Let me show you. Okay. Now it's the second one here that you see, entitled Out and About in New York City and Troubles in the UK. And as you see here, you see this. I wish my pointer, it doesn't show on the screen, but I'm pointing towards the right side of the screen on that row where it says request review. And as you see on top of that, it says not suitable for most advertisers. Okay? Now, usually when you see this, when this occurs, where it says review requested, so what you do is this. You press on it, which I'm going to do right now. I'm going to demonstrate. So I'm going to click. I have to click again. Okay. Now, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. And what's supposed to happen, well, let me back up a little bit. Now you see on the screen below my face where it says the word monetization, and to the right of that you see a yellow or golden color triangle with an exclamation point inside of it for the monetization. Monetization has to do about money. My videos, I am allowed, I've set up the parameters that my videos could become monetized. That means you'll see commercials pop up and one could get paid. However, I've never got paid by YouTube since. I've been monetizing my videos now for 13 months. So, with YouTube, when you see something about monetization and that blue hyperlink, you're able to contest it, okay? But for me, and this specific video, it's not even allowing me to contest it and for them to do a manual review of this video I did, okay? So what's supposed to happen is when there's a question about monetization that is not good for all advertisers according to YouTube, well, here, see, I didn't even press monetization. See, it's deactivated here, okay? And if I press on it, okay, you see the little check mark, okay? That's how it's supposed to look when you want to decide to actually do monetization for a specific video. Not all videos you do, you may want to monetize. So what usually occurs is, you click this monetization with ads button that you see checked off, and then you press save changes. But look, see that? This prompt failed saving monetization options. So YouTube for this video is not even allowing me to even monetize or even contest. Let me back up a page, so I want to show you again. Okay, it's going to back up. It's a little slow. Okay. So, as you see in this row here of the video out and about in New York City and troubles in the UK, see that? The request review option, it's not even allowing me to even have it reviewed at all. So this is a way of squashing certain topics by wagging the monetization in your face. So in short, if you talk about certain topics, we're not going to monetize your video. So for those people who rely on YouTube for their income, and again, I've never gotten a penny from YouTube since I monetized 13 months ago. That was last year in April when I first set up the options on my channel for monetization to be possible. So with this video, YouTube is saying no. We're not. I know that we have the request review, but we're not even going to allow you to even have the request review option. They'll make you think it. And again, as I just demonstrated, I did press the request review hyperlink, and it didn't allow me to even contest it. And look at what this one here. The live talk with Spiritjourney, Black women and British royal wedding, Omar Johnson, etc. This one, again, not suitable for most advertisers, and review requested. And you see here the review requested is in black. That means that I had clicked on it when it was the blue hyperlink, and I was able to do the manual review. And as you see here on top, that the $ is in like an amber color, and that means I'm not being monetized for this video until the review is done by YouTube. But that can take days. And again, with my YouTube, I said YouTube, my YouTube viewers, they generally watch my videos when it first comes up within the first few hours, and then it wanes off the viewership. So my viewers, those who want to watch me on YouTube, they watch it right away, and then that's it. So let's say in that window, that time period, if it's not monetized, anything after that time, I don't get paid. It's like money going down the drain. So again, this is a way of censorship, 21st century style. And again, they don't have anything physically around my neck choking me, but what they're doing, they're choking off your means of income stream in order to say, we don't want you to talk about it, or you're going to offend somebody, or not, in my case, not suitable for most advertisers. Now, who are these advertisers? I make the advertisers able to stay in business, all of us, because we all are consumers and we buy products or services. So I don't know which advertiser I'm offending, okay? Because we all look at, many of us have television sets and we watch the news. And the advertisers have, they have many types of advertisers on when the news reporters are on, and it's all different types. And they're not saying, oh, you can't have this advertise, these advertisers won't go on your, won't, it's not suitable when this is on. Not at all. They want to take every opportunity. If you're going to have a viewer, regardless of the topic, these advertisers, and especially if it's a hot topic, they want to get in there because they want their product to be seen by as many people as possible. So I'm a little upset, again, that my video is being flagged for against monetization. So I also wanted to do for you, I wanted to show you the stream that's in question of this guy named Tommy Robinson, okay? Okay, the video, this is his video that he was doing. He was doing a live stream at the time. And it's 1 hour and 15 minutes and 27 seconds. But I'm going to just put it up to the 1 minute 14 marker and just show you what happened. Okay, it's only maybe 2 people with them, and that's it. Let me view it now.
Just doing this, just doing a media, mate. Just trying to show people who are watching. This is what's happening. This is what the case is. This is how many girls were victims. This is what they've said, and this is what they've done. Yeah, mate.
I'm fucking on you now. It's all right. I'm swearing.
It's all right. No, no. Oh, they do it in prison. I know. You've been in there.
Okay, I just paused it for a moment. Now, do you hear him screaming or anything like that? Not at all. But in 2 parts of the video, the alleged rapist did walk past him, and there was dialogue, and it was a little heated there, okay? But here, he's been out here for over an hour, and nothing is really going on. Okay, let me continue.
You just got out. What was it like? Are you going to arrest me?
Michael is going to explain what's going to happen next, right?
Am I being arrested? I am being arrested. Of course, a breach of peace. I'm being arrested.
But the content of what you're
Can we just say
streaming.
The content of what I'm streaming, I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. Can you get me a solicitor? Can you get me a solicitor?
Can you just turn off
Yes.
your live
Can
feed?
you get me a solicitor?
Turn off your live feed, please.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I just said?
Dad, can you explain it again?
Investment suspicion following the breach of the peace.
What does that mean? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
It's all the Facebook.
So I'm at Leeds Crown Court, where these men
Okay.
here,
I'm sorry.
where these men here. Let me see. Oh, lads, how you feeling? How you feeling about your verdict?
I'm sorry. Okay. Now, let me go back. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that brief clip. Now, he's not yelling, and you could, at your own leisure, look on that particular video that I was just showcasing and come, make a decision for yourself whether he's out of line. And again, this is freedom of speech, and he does, I don't think he's he's more of like an advocate, and I'm not sure whether he's a licensed news reporter, but he's been an advocate for the ban on these, to expose what's called grooming in Britain. And what is grooming? Okay, the term grooming, and it was the first time I ever heard it, the term. And when I showed you the video that's being flagged on YouTube of mine, I was just discussing, the new term I learned about grooming. And grooming is, they're gangs, and they, by stealth, they befriend a female, and some of them are as young as 10 or 11. They have a pretense, and then they rape them, they gang rape them, and then they get them into, they drug them up so they become drug addicts. And again, what happens with a drug addict? You want that next fix, and so you're motivated to do the prostitution to get money. Okay? And this is happening in Britain. And I don't like the fact that they're preying on young girls, and their murders of young children, and the gang rapes. And so I had no idea. I'm just looking at my notes here. I had no idea that in Britain that they do this. And that's what I discussed in my video. This was a new topic. And I thought Britain's supposed to be a very civilized and people of charm and etiquette and things like that. That's all that I thought. But to see that Britain has its other side, its really dark side, and I've been hearing the things that I hear about Britain today is through the truther called David Icke. And that's the only time I've ever heard anything, negative about Britain. And David Icke is a reporter, and he discusses the things that a lot of people don't want to talk about, the seedy side of life, how you have things that are manipulating and orchestrating societies globally. And he exposes the royal family and the government of Britain, and so they harass him, especially when he wants to talk and have his lectures. Some of his lectures are barred from certain countries, But again, I'm not going to be talking about David Icke, but I just meant to, means to mention him and who is discussing certain topics. But I'm upset about YouTube in participating in this banning or blackout of the media on certain topics, and this one on grooming. Okay? And also why I'm so angry about this is because, see, this is a sexual issue. no female or male should be sexually violated and forced into prostitution, especially prepubescent children. Okay? So, I'm just trying to get my thoughts here. Now, I was violated as a child, and about 14 years ago, I had let the authorities know on my abuser, and I notified the authorities on him because I found that he was abusing his own daughter and other stuff. So I know I would have wanted someone to intervene for me, and no one did. So I called the authorities on this family man. So I'm not trying to hide anything here. I'm not trying to, protect this person because they're of your race or your nationality or your religion. No. You do wrong, and you should be prosecuted for it, family member or not. And I'm still getting over the things that happened to me, So, in addition to that, now the person that I had arrested, okay, they only did 4 months. 4 months jail time. They knew about his molestation background. He was actually arrested for child pornography, pictures and videos, whatever. I think they were pictures. I'm not sure if they're videos, but I know there were images or photos of very young, the detectives told me, very young girls. Okay, they said under the age of 16 looking girls. And so all this that they know about, I gave them all the information that I knew, what happened to me. And one of the other victims did speak to the authorities, but he was only arrested because there was a statute of limitation. That means he couldn't get arrested for the molestation. So they only arrested him for possessing that type of filth, okay? So he gets 4 months, and they know about his background, and then you get this man, Tommy Robinson, who's getting 13 months for reporting about the people who are being assaulted in his country, and they're getting off. They're not being prosecuted because if they talk about it in the media, see, that's also where the term, in the U.S. they use the term diversity. It's all under the guise of equality, treating everyone the same, and to not be bigoted or prejudiced or racist or whatever. It's all under that false umbrella. So if you mention that they're Muslim, or that they're from Asia, and that they're using their religion as an excuse to sexually violate children and women, because their religion says that about the infidel, and that if you come into an area and it's like a war thing, that it's okay to violate the women. So that's why they're making mention of it. I'm against someone to just slam dunk somebody just because of their religion, their color, their race, etc. I'm against that. But under the guise of diversity and equality, the rainbow crap, that's the cover story, the excuse that you can't discuss and warn people that, hey, you have a group who are exploiting the nuances of what is okay or not, and they exploit. They're really exploiting it, and they know that, hey, if they mention about our national origin or the religion, then we can say they're a bigot. And again, Britain is a predominantly white country. So if a white person speaks out on this minority group, you're racist. And so now they're twisting reality. So they're making white people in Europe afraid to speak out because it's the bad word now. It's a bad thing to be a bigot or racist or phobic about certain types of demographics. Even though the real issue is not about race or religion or national origins or color, it's about the act of raping, molesting children and adults. And they're using it as they're forming gangs. It's not just some one freaky person doing this thing against society. They're forming large gangs, and it's a network that's being done. And that has to stop. And I think this is all for a reason. That what I talked about in that other video, I talked about that you have, I'm just getting my thoughts together. Is this all about revenge? Is it all about the former colonies? And many of these former colonies of Britain are people of color. Is it all about we just want to get back at the Brits and what they did to us? You know, like in the I never hear of gangs like from the West Indies. You have many West Indian people that live in Britain, but you don't hear about them forming gangs and raping children and women. You don't hear of it. But yet these people in the West Indies historically were enslaved by Britain. But you don't hear of that. So why is it that you don't hear about these people, but you hear about these new people who were not enslaved by the Brits? They were colonized, yes, but all this rampage and hostilities. You ask yourself, what's motivating it? Is it their religion? And I don't think that they're doing a revenge based on colonization. I don't think that's the issue. Because some people who are watching this video might say of me, oh, why are you protecting these white people and all historically what they've done to your lineage? Yes, my family background is from the Caribbean, and I live in the United States, and the state that I live in is a former British colony. Our language, the political system, the laws is really based on British style, government and everything. So there are ties that I have as a result of that. Culturally, I don't like what that country has done historically. I hate it. I hate the things that I experienced growing up, to be denied certain jobs just because of my race and nothing more. So I understand that component, and I'm concerned that many blacks or West Indians who might be watching this video might say, hey, you're a whitey lover, and that's not what I'm about here. I'm about protecting lives of children and women. And what's being done in Britain can and will come to the U.S. So what happens in Britain, and again, the U.S. is a former British colony, and you have a large number of people from that demographics that's there in Britain that is doing the what they call grooming, living here in the United States, and that they can do the same thing. Where I live, it has a lot of everything. It's a very big tourist area. You have people from all over the world, but what I notice, it's a growing number of Islamic people that are very traditional, and the women cover everything. And this is new. I mean, you've always had, since the 1970s, Muslims, but I never saw the ones wearing the full hijab. I've never seen it until just recently, at least in New York City. And again, it's okay to be someone of the Islamic faith. This video is not about a ban on Islam or an insult of the people who are goodly people who are just so happen to be Islamic. It's not an insult or ban on them. This is about a band of people who using their religion as a weapon and an excuse to target innocent victims. That's what this video is about. I've never had any problem with people of the Islamic race, basically. Not really. No. But I'm against what's being used. It's a weapon. And weaponizing based on one's theology against a particular group. That's what my fear is. And so I'm wondering, okay, how come you don't have the people in the royal family? You have a queen. You have Queen Elizabeth II. And I don't know when there was a last queen. I think it was a Queen Victoria. I think that just before the present queen, I think the one prior was Queen Victoria. So it's mostly males that run it, kings. But once in a while you get a queen. So my concern is, hey, you're a woman. And they said this what they call grooming, has been going on for 40 years, if I heard right. 40 years of this type of behavior. And you're not going to stop it as a woman? What's keeping you from doing this as a woman? And you're a mom. And you're a grandmother. But it's all about political correctness. And Queen Elizabeth II is failing to address the issue. I never even knew about this. I just learned about it a couple of days ago. I knew nothing about this. I said something like this couldn't happen in Britain because it's supposed to be all proper and about image and protocol. Well, raping children and women is not a protocol of majesty. It's thuggery, it's savage, and if Queen Elizabeth II is promoted this in her country, if I were in her country, I would say, ban the royal family, ban the queen, ban the whole monarchy, throw it out. If this monarchy doesn't believe in protecting its women and the rest of their society, law-abiding citizens, and to protect regardless of race, religion, color, or whatever, and if you fail to even address the issue and to prevent it as a ruler, you shouldn't be a ruler. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. And I think maybe that's what Britain should start to threaten. Down with the royal family, with the monarchy, down and destroy it. If they don't protect their own population, all populations of that country, you have to really start evaluating the sanity of the people in their government or the monarchy. You have to reevaluate. It's horrible. I'm afraid, and it's not about being phobic about a particular religious group. And yes, they try to, they show all these little brown-skinned people, men, and all these people with certain last names. It's not about that, at least not with me. This is not what this video is about. Yes, you could have in the past people in the media exploiting the fact that someone is a non-white person, or someone is not of the Christian faith, and exploit that and make it look like all people who are non-white are bad people and are rapists. No, you don't want that. So initially, the country was saying we're going to have a blackout on this particular subject, on these court cases. See, there are court cases going on in Britain that of these men. It's 20 some odd men who are being on trial for their part in rape. So they're rape cases, rape and trafficking, sex trafficking. That's what it's all about. But because the mass majority of the people who are arrested are members of this particular religion and particular country of origin, they have to block it. Well, why? But why? Why is it that if I notice in the United States of America, they kind of do the same thing at times, that, like, how do you say this? Like, I feel sometimes that they are protecting some of these individuals who are Islamic people from the Middle East. Not so much Asia, but the Middle, Arabic Islamic people in particular I'm really referring to. That it's like they don't want to really discuss that, focus on that. And I wonder, well, why? Like 9/11 and the alleged hijackers, it wasn't a trial of those 19 people. And then I'm told that some of those 19 people are actually still alive. And the U.S. didn't go into Saudi Arabia. Most of the alleged hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. But then there was like a, don't say where they're from. They didn't go attack that country. They went to Afghanistan. So I don't understand what's going on. So I'm believing that a lot of this stuff is something underneath the real issue of Islam and Arabic countries. I think there's something going on beneath them, but initially they want you to focus on that they're Muslim. In the U.S., 1 minute they want you to focus that they're Islamic, and then when they want to really address the issue, okay, but leave Saudi Arabia alone though. Let's go to Afghanistan and bring our soldiers there to fight. So I don't understand it. It's like two things happening at once, and then in Britain it's even more glaring. You can't even say his name anymore, Tommy Robinson, and the grooming cases. You should know what's going on in your country. And so even though Tommy Robinson, he's rough around the edges, he admits he doesn't have a perfect life, but if I lived in this country and someone was coming into my community and having gangs, rape gangs, because they're not raping their own women. They're not raping. See, with rape, to my understanding, with rape in general, that people rape people of their neighborhood. Where they live. You only meet who you only have contact with people who you meet, and you meet people where you live. And so people, crime that happens, that people probably that live not too far from there. But these gangs are not violating their own women. They are violating other people. See, they're very specific who they want to do. They're doing British people, Hindus, and Sheiks. Okay, that's I think it's another branch of religion. So, why is that? So they're very selective. You shouldn't mess with anybody, but they're selective on who they're targeting. And so it's being made personal. I don't want the same thing to happen here, because as what I'm picking up, that when you have someone coming into a new area, a different demographics, and they said that people can get territorial. They come in, and then once they get a stronghold, or when they start to feel confident of having dominance in an area, then they start to try to bully people and make themselves even more visible or prominent, and in this case, rape or beating up, bullying. This area where I live is changing greatly. Some neighborhoods I really can't even walk in, regardless of my skin being colored and that being an area of color. And they let you know they don't want you here. I'm not saying Islam, I'm not saying that, but in general, in New York City, it could be some neighborhoods are very territorial. And if they know that you're not from there, and it's not just based on race or religion, they don't want you there. And I've experienced that. But in using this as an example, that if you have a group and their philosophy, what's motivating them, that's giving them an excuse, religion, people do a lot of things because of religion. So I'm afraid that the same thing could happen here where I live, because the growing number of different groups, and once you get it strong, right now, people basically get along. It's very, very mixed. It has a lot of activity, a lot of everything here, but it's changing quickly. And when the numbers get even higher of a particular group, what can happen? They can start imposing dietary laws, let's say in the school system. And there are groups here in New York City, and I'm not even talking about Islam, that their whole dietary thing is all of that particular culture's food requirements based on religion. I had known someone who went to this particular college in New York City, and that's what they told me when they went there. And then I hear of other stories that, like, even in Israel, that you have ultra religious people there, and if you're a female, they don't want you to sit in certain locations on the bus. So they even bully some of the white women there, the white Jewish women there, and then beat them up if they don't get off the bus at the right position, exit. Or let's say they're walking down the street and they say, hey, we don't like what you're wearing in our neighborhood, and they followed this lady home. And then they busted into her house, broke in, and beat her up inside her own home because they didn't approve of what she had worn earlier that day. That's what I'm afraid of happening. And again, that was not an Islamic group that I'm referring to. It wasn't. But it happened. So again, what I'm getting at is that sometimes you can have religious fanatics who get a dominance in a very condensed area, and then they start bossing around everybody, the religious police, and they start to beat you up. And again, some people may think that it's okay to rape because you're not of their denomination. You might even be a Muslim, but you may not be of their denomination, and they'll do those women too and rape them. And then this is going on in Europe. I've gone on vacation in Europe by myself, as a female by myself. I went to Europe and I was safe, relatively safe in Europe by myself. And I was not harmed. So, but you asked me to go there now by myself, I would be afraid to do that now. But Europe is a relatively safe place. You know, you go out in the daytime, you stay around with these people. It's a beautiful location. It's very modern, some parts. It's nice. You have a lot of people of color who go and visit Europe. It's a nice place. You get serviced. You go to restaurants. There's culture. It's clean. I like it. And I wanted to live in Europe at one time. A little over 20 years ago, I was planning on moving to France. That's where I wanted to go. Yeah, I couldn't find work there. And I didn't want to just go there without a job. I was real tempted to do it. But I didn't. But I really wanted to. It was my dream to live in this particular country, you know. But now, where some of the attacks happened in Europe happened there. In the same town I wanted to move to. Yep. I had wanted to live at Nice. That's in southern France. I wanted to live there. Oh, it was a beautiful, beautiful, very modern city. And that's where one of the terrorist attacks happened. Yep. So all this, you know, thought about Europe being a fun and safe place to live and a safe place for women to go. Now, I can't say that anymore. And I mean, Europe has its history. It doesn't have the best human relations history as it pertains to black people. It has a bad history with black people. But post-slavery, things like that, it's a nice place to visit. It's really nice. I was treated very nicely there. That was almost 30 years ago. Yeah, I went there. And I had a good time. And when I was in the military, I was there. I had a great time. Some of the places in Europe I didn't feel comfortable in, but some of the places I enjoyed. But you know, I almost forgot. Excuse me. I did have an incident, a bias incident that happened to me in France. I was in Marseille, France, and I didn't tell the people of my command, you know, on the ship that I was on, the military staff. I didn't tell them what happened to me. I was too embarrassed. I was very, very young, and I was with one of my other shipmates, and there was a strip where they have a lot of pastries, and I like pastries and sweets like that, and it was maybe 7 p.m., and it was dark. It was getting dark. This was in August 1987. Yeah, August 1987. No, I'm sorry. 88, August 1988. And I go in, and this trip also was a lot of Arabic section. You have a lot of Arabics there. And I go in with my coworker, and right away, see, I didn't know about Islam or things like that. That was beyond my understanding or experience in living in the United States. I go in, and you feel the tension and the hostility. There were two workers in there. One very young, one like a teen, another one a little older, maybe in the 30s, 40s. And I didn't know why they looked angry at me, or at both of us. And I'm thinking, this sounds kind of silly of me, but you ever notice some people, some individuals just always have a mean look on their face? And that's all I thought it was, because I didn't do anything to them. I wasn't wearing anything that I thought was inappropriate. I was all covered. Again, this is France. This is Europe. This is not Islam, Islamic country. It's not Saudi Arabia or places like that. This is Europe. And I'm wearing pants, baggy pants, a big bulky jacket. Everything was covered. I was very conservative back then, and I wore sneakers. And so I didn't think anything of it. And again, I was motivated. I wanted to get that little pastry. My friend orders her food first. She wanted to get out. She kind of elbow me. Hey, let's just get out. And I didn't think anything of it. So I back then I was very open. I was very liberal. I liked everybody. And so I pointed. I said, I would like this dessert. This one. I pointed. And so he just went to pick up anyone. I said, no, not that one. This one. And I'm pointing. And the guy got angry, kind of plops down the pastry, walks from behind the counter, and then hit me in my chest, the center of my chest. I kid you not. I'm just moving something here. Yeah, but that's what happened to me. And then I pointed, I said, don't you dare touch me. Don't you? And he went to hit me again. I said, don't you hit me. And then he starts speaking in Arabic, just rambling. And he starts talking to my friend. He thought the girl was Arabic. I don't know what her ethnicity was. But either way, he's rambling in Arabic to my friend. And then we leave. Now, what happened there? This is what I'm talking about with this, what do you call it, grooming. See, they had a stronghold over this part of Marseille, France. Marseille has a lot of North Africans and Middle Eastern people. And you also have some West Africans too, but mostly North African, Islamic people, Islamic speaking people, and I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Arabic speaking people, but of the Islamic faith system, most of them. So, but just imagine, this is almost 30 years ago, if not 30 years ago. And 30 years ago this year. So someone to do that, and I'm not hurting anyone, I'm commerce, I just wanted to buy a pastry, and for someone to get that angry and hit you in your chest. Did I hit him? Did I call his wife a bad name? Did I violate him? No. Nothing like that, but his theology motivated him, I speculate, and that's why he did that. Could you imagine? And now, post 9/11, and all this anti-Islamic or Muslim, anti-Arab sentiments that happen, It wasn't like that back then, at least not in my circle. But it happened. So just imagine now in a place like Marseille, France, and what they'll do to women now. It was a time of peace back then. So just imagine now. So I'm not just, this is not a rant against Islam. It's not about that. But it's about specific individuals, because of their warped thinking and distortion of their religion, to attack women. I was attacked by those two men in that shop. What if I were alone? What would it have done? What would they have done to me if I was alone, if my other friend wasn't there? Anything could have happened. So that's also what's motivating this video. I want safety for all women and children. But I also want to expose wickedness. And also what I'm thinking is that, see, I really think this whole thing about these people being Islamic and and from the various countries that they're coming from in Asia, I think that's just a cover story. Yes, those individuals may have been of those demographics, but I think that's the cover story that they want you to see, so you become angry about those people. I think this grooming that's happened in Britain and Europe as a whole is about an undercurrent of a major sex trafficking on the planet. And again, you've heard of in Britain about this man. He was the former prime minister of Britain, and it turned out that he was involved in pedophilia. Pedophilia is having sex with children, young children. And it came, he's dead now, but it came out what he was into. And all these other people. How come, again, you have Queen Elizabeth II, a female, who probably knows about these perverts and not speaking up. And that's what David Icke is exposing. So I think all this stuff is all interrelated, but they just want you to focus on these people just being Islamic or from South Asia. That's what they want you to focus on. And then when you speak out about it, oh, you're racist. And it's not about that. But they want, but see, that's what they're using as an excuse. And like in the United States, the diversity umbrella, and it's not about that. It's about social engineering and doing what you really want to do undercover. But if someone starts to find out about it and lift up its ugly lid, and that people could see what's going on, then you use the race card. Oh, you don't like homosexuals. Oh, you don't like black people. Or you don't like Arabs. Or you don't like Muslims. And it's not about that. But that's the cover story. And I think the true cover story is about the trafficking, human trafficking of many types of people. Women, children, men. And they're sending them off all over the planet. They're selling body parts, we call organs of people, body organs like livers and kidneys and hearts, corneas, because it's money. And the human trafficking of parts, of sex, it's just money. It's like a frenzy. And I believe the royal family is behind it, the crown. You have innocent people who are of the royal family. Yes, you have innocent people who are just so happen to be members, and maybe they're not involved in that. But I'm sure the Queen knows about it, and were friends. The Queen and Prince Charles knew these people who it later found out that they were serious pedophiles. Why aren't they being prosecuted? They're prosecuting the trial of these Asian men, but why aren't they prosecuting the British royal family? All the people in government, in their government. Why aren't they doing them? But they want you to just look at the little brown people and not the people who make the rules and regulations of their country. It's hands off. See that? Things are being set up. That's what I believe. Let's get these people, this demographics, these little brown people to do all these things, but they're probably supplying the government, the British government, and the royal family of these children. That's what's going on. And that's why my video that I made mention in the beginning of this live stream, why they flagged it and are denying it monetization. That's why. They don't want it to get out. So they're punishing me and other YouTubers for speaking out. I didn't say anything inflammatory. I just mentioned, hey, I heard about this new term. And I had no idea in Britain. I thought Britain was supposed to be a perfect place and everyone got manners. That was the propaganda that I got growing up about Britain. I knew nothing about the other side of Britain. Had no idea. I was very, very naive. Well, life is opening my eyes. And like what, again, the US, the East Coast was a former British colony, and so the apple does not fall far from the tree. And so that's why I'm making mention. What's happening over there is probably happening here. How come in the United States, how come the Pizzagate and that other thing, how come these people aren't being prosecuted? Why? Why are we allowing this? Are they going to do a media blackout here? They squashing it. And if you question about the Pizzagate and all that Trump is trying to expose, then you're called a bigot again. See that? They're using the race or the color card or the religion card. See, they're using that as a defense, and it's a cover up. Look beyond the surface. You have to look at the intent of somebody. And somebody is trying to social engineer, kidnapping people. You heard about all these black women being kidnapped in the United States. Remember in the early 1980s? In Georgia, there was all these children, these black children being kidnapped, and they couldn't find them. And they had the slogan, "Save our children." And that was a euphemism for save black children. I'm sure black children are still being missing. Where are they going? Could these children that are being kidnapped or being groomed, as they say in Britain, are these children and women, are they also being trafficked off planet? Remember a couple of months ago, in February of this year, 2018, I interviewed a man named Tony Rodriguez, and he talked about his experience about being kidnapped and forced to work on other planets. They have secret technologies and spacecrafts to send people to other planets. Again, I don't know whether it's true, but this is his experience, he says. And he said that they are sending people and enslaving them and forcing them to work. They're used as sex slaves and other types of things as warriors. And then they send you back and they erase your mind. And then I made mention about 2.5 weeks ago, and I made mention about that I noticed that it seems to be a correlation between the people who they use for those so-called secret space program and the 20-year and back program that a lot of them have the same blood type. And then boom, lo and behold, I'm talking about this to someone, and then I get attacked. I get something, me and the other person I was with at the time, something hit like the side of us, our head, and then it jumped here and made my heart race. And it's giving me diarrhea. I still have symptoms from that. I went to the doctors, I had an MRI, a CAT scan, had my blood checked, stool check, and they can't find what's wrong. But something happened. Something happened to me. And that's what's making me think that maybe there's some truth to about this secret space program, technologies. I already learned about the voice of God machine that they have. And that they can make you hear voices. They can send out certain magnetic waves or microwave signals and affect your body in many ways, such as rapid heartbeat, fainting, all this other stuff. And that happened to me about 2.5 weeks ago. So I'm thinking there's something to all this. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds bizarre, but see, today is about going beyond just it's about really expanding your information base. And it might sound as bizarre as really bizarre, but go deeper with it. Check it out and find out what's going on. Start talking to people where you live or family members and start sharing stories. Hey, this happened to me. Hey, has this ever happened to you? Things are happening to people. And things are happening to me. And again, it could have been what happened at the restaurant just by chance. But no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Two things can't happen to two people at the same time. And that's why I'm really thinking about these weaponries and what I was talking about the blood types and secret space program. See, people don't attack you for lying. People attack you because you're speaking truth about something that they want to cover. And I think this whole thing with the pedophilia, the sex trade business, human trafficking, that they're all related. Everything is intertwined. And they don't want you to see that correlation. And the thing what's happening with the people from Asia and Britain and them being a Muslim, that's just the cover story. What's really going on is human trafficking. Human trafficking. So this video is not about being anti-diversity. No, I am pro-diversity, but I'm anti-sex trafficking and having sex with children. Leave the kids alone. Leave the women alone. Stop human trafficking. That's my message in this video. So yeah, I'm seeing here that there are people who write in their comments. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, DJ, yes. Yes, Yes, DJ King is saying, read between the lines, Azalea. Yep. Life is a flux. There's lots technological interruptions. Yep. And then I have, oh, hey, hi, Alejandro. Yes, hi. It's good to see your name as well. And Alejandro says, people have committed the most horrible acts of genocide to other human beings in the name of religion. That's right. And again, he says, for example, what was done in Africa. I know my face is looking in the other direction. I'm sorry. It looks weird, but yeah. Done to, for example, what was done to Africans and Native Americans in the name of Jesus Christ was horrible, yes. And CDB, okay, yes. So all those things happening, and they hit it on the head. You have a lot of people who do things historically in the name of religion. You have these religious kooks. You have normal people of a particular faith system who don't harm anyone. But then you get others who distort religion and use it to harm as a weapon. That's what I'm against. I'm not against religion. If something serves you, you serve it. But if it means to violate somebody's right, I'm against it. And that's all this is about. So I know I said a lot here, and I'm really worried about the society that I live in, my safety as a woman. And I like diversity, but I don't believe in rape. I don't believe in imposing your restrictions on me. But if someone want to restrict and monitor themselves, their own being, go right ahead. But to bully and to use your strength against a woman or a child, I'm very disappointed to see that, you know. So that's my that's my rant too. And yeah, I've recently uploaded 2 or 3 videos today, and they're kind of all like the same type of concern, whatever. Again, I think this is really important to get out, because I think things happen for a reason, and the time is now to speak out. The time now is you have a friend, you know, stay close to that friend so you can protect one another. So that's all I'm going to say today. But I thank you guys for listening and for your sensitivity. And again, I repeat, this video is not about being anti-Islam or Muslims. It's not about that. It's not about anti-religion. It's about exposing truth. And the truth is, stop human trafficking. Okay? So take care, be safe, and yeah, pray for me, pray for my safety as well. Okay? Bye-bye, guys.